is Parshat VaYeza, and we know that the main character of the Holy Torah now is YACOV Avinu. YACOV Avinu is very clear that he leaves his parents, Rivka and Yitzchak, but we see that there's a 14-year hiatus that till between Yaakov leaving his parents and him getting to the house of his uncle Lavan to marry his future wives, Rachel and Leah. So where was he? It says that Yaakov had left and had spent 14 years in the yeshiva of Shem Ve'ever, learning Torah. Now the great Gaon, the STEIPLER Gaon, says, how does this practically affect our life? How does it? He says that we know when Yaakov left Beersheba, it lost its glory, it lost its moon, it lost its light, because when a tzaddik leaves a place, it loses its treasure. The treasure of the city is its righteous citizens, its tzaddikim. And we always have to emulate our forefathers. Never in the history of mankind was the world so corrupt, void of spirituality, ethics, morality, fear of God. And the STEIPLER, he says that it used to be people that didn't used to go to yeshiva or KOLLEL used to be able to be very God-fearing and upright, totally faithful to the Torah and mitzvot, and keep all the laws, and not only the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law properly, to be a ben Torah, to be a Eved Hashem, like a true servant of Hashem. But he says, nowadays, unfortunately, the world, there's so much atheism, and the world is so corrupt that for a person to be engraved in his heart and mind that the main reason we were created to learn Torah, Ashrei Misha Amalav B'Torah, to toil in Torah, to understand Torah, it's not going to happen unless it's so easily to become corrupted, our values to be corrupted, to be like the Greeks, which we're going to get to Hanukkah in a few weeks, that we worship the body, we worship money, that he says, the Rav Chaim Kanievsky's father, as a STEIPLER Gaon says, he says, even if you don't learn a word of Torah and yeshiva, but you're at least in that atmosphere around the Rosh Yeshiva and the Rebbeim and the holy thing, that's good enough. Because and this is what I always say, is I say, why did Yaakov knew that like Rav Ovadia says, Lavan was a wantaji. Lavan was a fraudster and a con artist. And if Yaakov Avinu, which had so much integrity and holiness imbued in his soul from his father Yitzchak, saw that before he was going to go into the real world and challenges with all these evil and corrupt people like his own uncle, he needs the backbone of studying. Because it says when he put the stones around him, he used to sleep on his desk, Yaakov. He didn't used to. He was such a devoted and good student in the yeshiva that he never slept on a bed till he got to Bet El, where he slept. So if Yaakov Avinu, in order to preserve the holiness that he learned from Rivka and Yitzchak, and not get corrupted by his uncle, needed 14 years. So for sure us. And I tell you, I was trying to organize an alumni event for my yeshiva, and I went through a list of like 200-300 people. And a lot of these people, especially our Persian community, is tight-knit. I knew them. And something made my hair on my body stand up. I saw something so scary, that those people, the longer they were in the yeshiva, and especially those that had continued on to Kollel, there was a world of difference. How their families were being brought up, who they married, how religious they were, how serious they were about every day having 1 or 2 hours of learning, that the Torah is the central focus and God is the central focus of their life rather than materialism and money. And my Rosh Yeshiva of blessed memory, Rabbi YACOV Weinberg, he had a famous lecture in Richmond, Virginia, I think, that he was saying that when Rav Moshe Feinstein or Rav Aaron Kotler, the Gedolim, came to America and saw that it's so materialistic, they said that it's true, maybe in Europe, yeshiva and kollel were for the people that want to become rabbis. But in order, and really this is what the STEIPLER Gaon says. He says that in America, in order to be a normal Jew that keeps everything and doesn't think the Torah is some salad bar, there's certain Jews that, when it comes to certain commandments, like some modesty, some people studying Torah, they think it's a multiple choice. If you want it, you could do it if you know. Somebody that's the real deal, that keeps kalaka bechamura, keeps every mitzvah as it should be. The Gedolim realized that this is only possible. Not only everybody should attend post-high school yeshiva, and they should even start a year or two their life in a kollel, where the wife and children know that the nucleus, Holy of Holies, is our commitment to the Torah. And it's so sad that certain people, they're always in a rush in life to try to gain a year. But that 1 year of kollel, or those few years that you go to night college rather than, those years are never going to come back. And if Yaakov Avinu needed it, then don't think you're a wise guy and you're better and bigger than Yaakov. If Yaakov Avinu needed it, for sure in our generation, where there's never been such an assault on true conservative values, the values of the Torah, there's never been, and really the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita, Rav Feldman, we had a shir in Shir HaShirim, he said something so scary. The Gra brings from the Kabbalah, from the Zohar, the reason why Mashiach doesn't come is even people that when they were young, they learned Torah, and now that they're so much more sophisticated and their IQ is hard, they have all the foundation of Torah, they just abandon the Torah and want to make money or go on vacations or have fun or, become workaholics. And that's sad because we need such a strong backbone in our years of yeshiva and kollel and start off a marriage and our family with the Torah as the nucleus. So hopefully, not only we should be faithful, the Torah of the words of Torah should be so precious and ingrained in our souls that both us and all our descendants should know God and learn Torah for its own sake. Amen. Like Yaakov Avinu.